Jenkins, and today I'm going to review Carrie Soto is Back by Taylor Jenkins Reid. Now, I like Taylor Jenkins Reid as an author. I've read some of her previous books like Malibu Rising and Daisy Jones and the Six, and they were so good. She's into historical fiction, so I enjoyed those two books very much. And so I started this one, Carrie Soto is Back, and I discovered that the book is actually a quartet. Carrie Soto is Back happens to be the last book in the quartet. So that means I didn't get to read the first one. The first one is The Seven Husbands of Evelyn Hugo, if I'm correct. So I'll try to get to read the first one. And then the second one was Daisy Jones and the Six. I've read that. And the third was Malibu Rising. I've also read that. Then I'm reading Carrie Soto is Back. So Carrie Soto follows the story of this tennis player. We see her life from when she was born. She was born to Reidverse Soto and his wife. From when she was born, it was her dad who introduced her to tennis, and she has been playing tennis as early as probably 2, 3, you know. And her mom died as a child, so she just gave her all to tennis. It was just her father and tennis, and the father was coaching her and training her, and then she was going in tennis. And by the time she was, I think, 9 thereabout, she had already started to beat her opponents constantly, continuously. And so that was how she was introduced to the junior league of female tennis players. And she kept playing, and she kept getting serious about it. As at the age of 14, she already had a career in tennis. And then she met this guy. They had this relationship, but she realized that this guy was always hiding her. He was not ready to bring her out to the world. And when she realized that, she was like, okay, well, if you can't bring me out, then there's no need having this relationship. And she just forgot about him, continued with her life and her career. And I admired that so much, because I was expecting, as a teenage girl, I was expecting her to break down after the breakup, you understand. But she just faced her career and she just continued with her life and faced her career like that part of her life never happened. So we kept following her. She kept growing. She was always beating her opponents and all of that. She kept getting into relationships that were going nowhere and coming out. And so she had even told herself, because relationships was not working for her, there was no need for her to even focus on that. That was what gave her more energy and more focus in her tennis career. And she had this rival, Paulina Stepanova. They were at each other's throats. They were ready to get each other. They just wanted to get themselves. They're ready to. This person will beat this person and mock her in an interview, and then Paulina will beat Carrie Soto and mock her in an interview. Carrie Soto will also beat her back. So like they were going at each other constantly until Carrie Soto played a match with Paulina Stepanova, and Paulina injured her ankle, and that was how Paulina was out of tennis. So it was just Carrie Soto left, who was the best tennis player. So she kept playing, and she met another opponent. And when she played that opponent, she also sustained an injury, just like in the case of Paulina. And because of that injury, she decided to retire from tennis. So while her tennis career was going on, she didn't get as much endorsements as the other ladies who went to tennis, because the public saw her like she was cruel, if that's the right word. They saw her as stiff, as cruel. She wasn't feminine. She was always winning, and she was always bragging about winning. And she kept explaining like, if I've been practicing for a match all my life and I win, that is what I'm not supposed to act surprised that I won, right? Because I've been practicing for it, and I appreciated that honesty. But unfortunately, the world is not like that. You know, in this world, after you practice and you beat yourself and then you get the prize you're after, you are still expected to act like you didn't know it will happen to you. If you get what I mean, you're supposed to act surprised or act like it was luck or something. But she was quite straightforward. I won't pretend like it's luck because I practiced for this, and so I liked her honesty. But people saw her as being brutal. People called her names. They got her the B word and everything like that. So she retired, right? And after 7 years, after healing, 7 years later, she decided to come back to tennis. And everybody was like, well, your time has passed. You had your glory days. Why are you coming back? Whereas some other people are like, wow, that means she still has it in her. For her to want to come back after all these years, she still has it in her and she wants to show us. Then she gave us her own reason. And her own reason is that um, she was the best tennis player in the world then before she retired. And she had a number of wins. And now, currently, that's 7 years later, there's another tennis player they were colleagues, right? This is not like this person is practically new. This person was also a tennis player when Carrie Soto was also a tennis player. This player I'm talking about is Nikki Chan. So they had started their career around the same time, but Carrie Soto retired, whereas Nikki Chan was still in the game. And Nikki Chan had been winning and winning and winning, and Carrie Soto realized if she doesn't come back to claim the title of being the best tennis player in the world, Nikki Chan is going to beat her. Nikki Chan is going to have more wins than she ever did. And that was her reason for coming back. So she played, they usually start with the lowest player. So she will play her way up. She lost the first season. She tried the second season, she lost on the way. By the time she got to the semi-finals, she lost. And then the third season, when she had gotten past the semi-finals, she had even won for the finals. And unfortunately, Nikki Chan had her own ankle accident. So she couldn't compete in the Champions League, right? But Carrie Soto won. And it sort of like upset Carrie Soto, like, no, I didn't just want to win anybody. I wanted to win Nikki Chan. And her father kept asking her, aren't you satisfied with all you've accomplished? And she's like, no, she's not satisfied. She knows she wants to keep her title as the best tennis player in the world, right? But she also wants to play a match with Nikki Chan where she is going to win. And her father is like, when exactly are you going to stop? And she's like, she doesn't know when she's going to stop. She has no idea. But that is what she wants to do. She wants to beat Nikki Chan personally. So, while all this is going on, she forms a relationship with Bowie Huntley, who is also another tennis player. And Bowie Huntley too started his career when she did, but he is not as good as Carrie Soto when it comes to tennis. He didn't win any championship. He didn't have any titles, right? But he just kept coming back and kept trying year after year. And so they had this wonderful relationship. In my own opinion, I think it was wonderful. It was mature. The Huntley was mature for her. He was that kind of person that could cope with her excesses and all that. Carrie Soto has started to prepare for Nikki Chan for the next season, and her father collapsed when they got down from a plane. And by the time they went to the hospital, they kept saying, her dad is ill and he has cancer and all that. Okay, that part was sorrowful. I like the way it was written by this author. I felt it. It touched me. It touched me. It was so touching. Like I had to put the book down for like 2 days before I could. I had to get myself before I could continue. It was so touching. But like her father was actually able to come out of it. He was able to come out of it, and when he had that illness, she had to go and start the new season. So he was watching her on the TV and he always called her after every season where she had won and everything. So she kept going, she kept winning. She had gone to the semi-final, she kept winning. And then in between the match, her father had died. Her father passed away. It was devastating, even for me as a reader, and I believe for you too. It was quite devastating. And I wasn't thinking she would be able to get herself, I mean Carrie Soto now. I wasn't thinking she would be able to get herself to continue with the match. But somehow she was able to summon up that courage. And she was saying, okay, even if she has no other reason to beat Nikki Chan, the fact that her father had died is enough reason for her to beat Nikki Chan. So she kept going and playing the match and all. Nikki Chan was like, if you are not in the right state of mind to have this match, it's better we reschedule it some other time. But she was like, no, she's going to play Nikki Chan and all that. And then the book brought us to the D-Day when the both of them had their match. Nikki Chan was also, we could see the author was able to show us Nikki Chan's point of view as well. Nikki Chan too wanted to play Carrie Soto and beat Carrie Soto so that the whole world will know her as a person who beat Carrie Soto and beat her record as well. So they both wanted to beat each other, for that title of who is the greatest, right? And so that the match between Carrie Soto and Nikki Chan, it was what's that word? It was tedious. It was full of suspense. They kept playing and they kept playing and they kept playing. And I like the way this author was able to describe every single moment on the tennis field. I like the way this author was able to describe it because I'm not even interested in tennis. I don't care for tennis, right? But the way this author wrote it, I was able to follow it. I felt like I was sitting down there watching the both of them. I was also tense, and they kept playing for a very long time. And at that point, I was also tired. Like, I was there physically, right? But this author did a very good job. I appreciate the book for that. So they kept playing and playing and playing and playing, and it was for a very long time. But in the end, Nikki Chan won. Carrie Soto lost. She was not able to. She missed the ball. So Nikki Chan won. So Nikki Chan won, and I was like, okay. So what is Carrie Soto going to do after this? But after Nikki Chan won, and they shook hands, and the author just showed us that Carrie Soto just took it in good faith, and she retired for real this time around. I didn't mention her boyfriend as well, Boy Huntley, the tennis player she was dating. He too decided to retire because he also lost a match. With the way the story was going, we were thinking he's going to win the match for the first time in his career, but somehow he lost it. And she too also lost to Nikki Chan. So they just both retired and went to live their quiet life together. And then later on, we see that Carrie Soto was now like a coach for Nikki Chan. So anytime Nikki Chan is having a match, Carrie Soto is there to cheer her on, and Carrie Soto is there to put her through based on her own experience. So, and that was how that story ended. What I liked about the story, I liked the fact that what I liked the most about the story was that it didn't have too much of romance. There was romance, but it was a mature one. Yes, it didn't have too much of those teenage love triangles. Oh my god, I can't stand love triangles, honestly speaking. I just can't stand it. It's annoying. So it didn't have love triangles. I appreciate this author for that. And I like the fact that the story concentrated on how this woman wanted to be the best at her career no matter what. The way she was able to push every other thing aside and focus on her goal and on her dream. I like that. It's encouraging. It's encouraging. I think we need more stories like this. Then I like the fact that it was not a happy ending, in the sense that Carrie Soto still did not win. You know, life is like that. Life can happen like that sometimes. Somebody keeps trying at a particular thing and keeps failing, and they keep trying, they keep failing until when they decide, okay, I guess this thing is not for me. So I like that, because most of the time when you try something the first and second time and it doesn't work, you just I think I should just leave it. But I like the fact that she was persistent and she persevered, and even though she didn't win, I like the fact that she tried so many times to see if she could win. So I appreciated that. Then what I didn't like about the book, the truth is, like I said earlier, I don't care for tennis. I don't care for tennis. So like it wasn't really exciting reading about tennis, but it's not all bad. But this author was able to write it so well that I could follow it. I could follow and understand everything. But the fact that it was tennis was it was almost discouraging. I almost didn't continue reading it, but I stopped to it because I trust the author and I've read her previous works and I liked them, so that's why I kept reading it. That was what I didn't like. So I rate the book 4 stars out of 5. Yes, I rate it 4 stars out of 5, and I really enjoyed it. But I'm hearing that this is the last book in the River series. Well, if it is, well, it was a wonderful series. It was really really nice. It's only the first one I haven't read, the Seven Husbands of Evelyn Hugo. So because I've read books 2 to 4, I think I'll try to read the first book so that I know, okay, I'm done with this quartet. So if you like this review, please click the like button, and I need you to also, and I would like you to also subscribe to my YouTube channel. Thank you for watching. See you next time. Bye.